Hi guys, welcome to another episode of musicstudios.co.nz. My name is Ralphie and we are with Tematera.
Kia ora.
Kia ora. Redroom Audio in Auckland, Helensville.
Redroom Studios, but that's
Redroom
okay.
Studio. I'm getting it confused. There was another Redroom in Hamilton.
Yeah.
You've seen the episode.
Yeah,
right?
we did. Yeah, it was good. I was
Go
watching it
check that
going, there's
episode
another
out.
Redroom Studios. Oh my god.
Oh.
Yeah.
You might have to start a franchise.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe do a deal.
Yeah.
But
He
this is
may have been
completely.
first, who knows?
Who knows? But
Yeah.
this is completely separately owned
Yep.
by some British dude who's flown to New Zealand. Is that right? British,
yeah,
Irish.
I guess so.
Descent?
Yeah,
Yep.
I've lived here for 14 years,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
this is my home, definitely.
Yeah, New Zealand. It's got nice beaches.
It has very nice beaches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a nice drive down to the studio. It's very, very cool, the surrounding
Yeah,
area.
it's beautiful.
And
Beautiful
we're
area.
very excited to be here.
It's good for you to be here. Thank you for coming.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and how the studio came together.
My background is as a live
Yep.
engineer and a studio engineer.
Okay.
And also used to be signed to Sony as an artist in the UK.
Right.
And came over here, was working in the live sound industry. At the same time, we built the studio in Whangaparoa. And for the band that I play in a band called the Symphony of Screams.
Okay.
And at the time we were wanting to record our first album, so we decided to build our own studio, which we called Redroom Studios, because it had phosphorescent lights, but we wrapped them in red, lighting gel. So the whole thing was just always red. We thought that was really cool. So hence that's why it became Redroom Studios.
Yeah.
But that studio got really busy, and we, as we started recording other people, and we got a couple of awards under our belt, and the next thing we know, we really needed to move it because the kids needed to sleep, basically.
Yeah.
And
You needed to find a commercial space.
Yeah. And
the family
we
happy.
needed to find a commercial space that didn't cost us an arm and a leg. Anyway,
Yeah.
our drummer at the time, Bones, found this space here, and the rest is history. We built this, and that's got so busy now that we're now building Studio B.
Yeah.
We've
Saw
taken
that.
on
Yeah. No,
and now
that's
we've
cool.
taken on another space which we can record in as well, which are our offices and conferencing space and our video editing suite. So
Yeah.
it's just grown and grown exponentially,
Yeah.
and it's been fun.
There's a long list of artists that have recorded here. And
Yeah, it's been a real
Long
privilege
list.
to work with some really amazing
Yeah.
artists on the label that we run or off the label.
Yeah. What's the label called?
All Good Absolute Alternative Records.
Okay.
And basically we started that because we recognised that there was a need.
Yeah.
At least we perceived that there was a need for a label that invested in alternative artists. And investment is interesting as an artist because the biggest overhead is recording, is your production costs.
Yeah.
And obviously that's an area we can help. We have a studio, so we can provide a studio, and we have really good video production capability. So we thought, well, great, well, how hard can it be?
Yeah. And then you found out the truths about it.
If only we knew the truth, yeah.
But-
wouldn't change it.
Yeah. No, that's cool that you're filling a gap in the New Zealand market, and it's pumping out some really cool music.
Yeah,
So-
thank you. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
really proud of it. Yeah, it's
Cool.
we made a decision that we only wanted to work with people that we wanted to work with, and
Yeah.
that's because it's all very well being talented, but it needs to be matched by effort.
Yeah.
And actually that's equally as important. It's really interesting when it comes to music is we suspend our common sense as artists quite often. We kind of are still under some kind of illusion that we create art and it will just be huge. Our ego lets us think that we are going to be the biggest next best thing, which in some sense is good because it keeps us going. But the reality is that the successful artists are those who work hard, not just at their art, but at their overall
Distribution, I guess, of the art, getting it out there.
Well, that's one aspect,
Yeah.
but the theming of it, the overall production of who they are as an artist, how they present themselves as an artist,
Exactly.
and how they reach out into the world. And whilst we can really help there, we can only really help if they're already dedicated and motivated. And that was the biggest lesson we had to learn. We had to learn that it's all very well signing artists that are great, but unless they're really willing to put the work in, are totally dedicated to their art, then it's kind of sadly a waste of time. So But we've been really blessed that the artists that we work with are incredibly passionate about what they do. They work incredibly hard. They're amazingly gifted, and it's a lot of fun, which is the most important thing. Yeah.
Name some of the highlights in your roster as a label. And
the artists.
They're all good.
They're all extremely good.
Extremely
and we're proud
good,
of you all because we love you. Because otherwise we'd be working with
Nice.
you. The artist that we've just released, of course, is Troy Kingy and his sophomore album "Shake That Skinny Ass" all the way to Zygertron.
I want to listen to that just because of the title.
Yeah, it's an amazing album.
Okay, cool.
He's an incredibly gifted artist, and he surrounded himself with incredibly gifted musicians.
Yeah.
You've just got the most amazing people on that record, like Myra TK, Ed Zuccolo, and the list goes on and on of really amazing artists. And as a result, you've got an incredible sounding record that is just getting rave reviews and is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So we're really proud of that at the moment. Yeah. And we've got lots of other records on the way. So keep posted.
Keep posted.
Yeah.
And you've got podcasts happening. I mean, you're a busy studio.
Yeah, we are. Yeah,
which is streamed in certain radio stations. Tell us about that.
So we going back about 3 or 4 years, we decided that we recognised, or we thought there was a gap in the market for a TV show, something along the lines of Jules Holland later with Jules Holland, or mixed with TFI Friday, which is another kind of crazy British show, and we thought, why not do one here, Yeah. And so we did some crowdfunding, and we raised the money, and we produced a show called Live at Galatos. Okay. And it was basically shot live, all 3 floors of Galatos, live studio audience, presenter upstairs. The whole thing was great fun. But fundamentally, there wasn't a market for it. No TV companies were interested, because at the time they were only interested in if you were The Voice or if you were competition. In fact, we were told, yes, do it, but it has to be a competition. Okay. And we just weren't interested in that. So we kind of stopped, thought about what we could actually do and achieve without having to spend $20,000 an episode, which is what it costs to make a TV show. Yeah, right. And we retracted back to the studio here, had a scratch of the head, and thought, well, what can we do that has the same kaupapa? And so we started with the Redroom Sessions radio show, which is basically a much cut down version. It's not filmed. It's artists come in, they play live, are interviewed. It's mixed as a live performance and goes out on West Coast radio, and then also as a podcast on iTunes and Google Play and everywhere around the world. And now we've got listeners as far away as Finland. That's nice. And that's really awesome that the music that's coming from here is getting out to such a wide audience. It's our way of giving back to musicians. Yeah. They don't have to be on a label. They just have to be out there and trying to produce great stuff. Yeah.
Doing their thing.
And it's a huge amount of fun. It's a real privilege, because I mean, you'll have found this interviewing people.
That's what.
Yeah,
we started off filming Friends. Yeah. And then it sort of snowballed from there.
Did you find, though, that when you interviewed them, that you got to know them in a much more in-depth way? Yeah, we did. Yeah. And there was sort of common goals and a commonality between what we were trying to achieve and what they're trying to achieve, and it was sort of like very had a family feel to it. So it was cool. It's really cool. The surprising thing for me is, as you just described, was that artists I'd worked on in the studio for literally months on a creative project, on an album, for example. Yeah. They'd come in and do a radio show, and we were interviewing them, and I learned more about them in that half an hour than I did in the months working on an album together. We got a much more intimate connection of discussing what was important to them in their life and their motivation. Because, of course, when you're just working, you're just focused on a common goal. Exactly. So it's been really awesome,
That's cool. Hey, that's really good. Congrats on everything you're doing.
Thank you.
And there was a challenge to building the studio, right? Who was the previous owner?
The previous owner to this space was actually. Oh, do you mean the
like just the industry that they were in, making cars or something?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we're just about to we're building Studio B at the moment, and so we built this studio. It wasn't Studio A then; it just was Redroom. Yeah. And we got the eye on the kind of the basement next door, thinking we really want to expand into there. Yeah. They have water.
They have water, running water.
We can put a toilet in. Imagine that, And when they vacated the space, we came in to clear it, and we took 6 tons of shit out of there, including car chassis and gearboxes and everything, and then realised that basically it was fucked. I mean, to say it was fucked is an understatement. It was really fucked. Like
Zoom in on that.
It was fucked. Like, there's plants growing to the fucking concrete, you know. And we were like, oh no, you know. So first job, $10,000 floor, concrete floor, and then it's taken us 2 years to get it to where it is now. Probably another 6 months to get it finished, I'd say. Yeah. All built with the sweat and labour of people on the label.
That's cool.
So it's really, this place is a lot of people invested in this place as
built
their
by a
creative
family
hub.
of creatives.
Yeah. To say that it's my studio would be completely wrong.
Yeah.
It's not my studio.
Yeah.
I pay the rent, but it's actually, it's a hub for creative people. And the more people come and use it, the better. You're welcome here. That's what it's for.
That's cool. Tematera.
Yes.
Tell us about you as a musician.
Okay. I played in one particular band in the UK, which started out a school band called Sender of Eight, and it went on to become Sender, and that did really well. We toured for a long, long time. We got a really good following, and then basically in a moment of madness, we broke up, and we built a really good fan base and so forth, but we just couldn't keep going. But after 6 months break, I was desperate to play again. Yeah. Put a band together, we called it Sundog, and within 6 months we were signed. It was crazy. We were nowhere near as good as a band as the other band, but somehow it just had some kind of bizarre energy to it, and we got the interest of Sony and so forth. Long story short, Sony got bought by BMG, and in all that kind of chaos that was going on, no one knew what was going on. We thought, fuck this, and got out, came here. Formed a band, met some really like-minded, awesome guys, formed a band called the Symphony of Screams. Yeah. And Symphony of Screams got to open for Rock to Wellington, playing in front of 25,000 people a night. We were literally the band before Ozzy Osbourne and the band before Whitesnake the night before. Yeah. Made some really cool videos, made some really awesome music, made two studio albums and a live album. Yeah. And sadly, Bones moved to Australia. He works in the film industry. Yeah. And that was a couple of years ago, and we're kind of been on hiatus. So since then, we've been doing some side projects. We're just doing a really fun project called Apostate Son, which is basically some other musicians who are on the label. We get together on a Wednesday night, and we get a little bit fucked up and see what happens. And literally, the project is that we get a little bit fucked up. We program a drum machine, and then one of us will lay a riff down, and then the other ones will respond to that riff, and then I have to go in there and record a vocal that is not pre-thought. Like literally, that vocal is the vocal that's going on the record. Okay. And it's been incredibly liberating as a project, and we're just putting the songs out like one song once every couple of months. We've got like 14 songs already recorded and mixed. And they're utterly mad. They are completely bizarre. But it was something that I really needed to do, particularly, I guess the other guys felt the same way, because you know, if you haven't been playing for a while, you need to do something creatively. Like it's great working on other people's music. I love it. I mean, it's a real privilege to do so, but it's not mine. Yeah. When you're doing something that you're creating expressively yourself, it's fundamentally important to who I am as a human being. So I have to do it.
It's an outlet.
You have to do it, you know. Yeah,
exactly.
But I hadn't been playing for a while, and there was a lot of anxiety for myself personally around my guitar playing or bass playing or my singing in particular. Okay. And so doing a project which literally lays yourself extremely bare to the point that you've got one take. Yeah. Because that's the rules of this project. That is your take, and you then have to be okay with the fact that it is going to be pitchy. You have to be okay about the fact that it's, you know, your playing isn't perfect. And for most of us who've got used to being in a Pro Tools environment where everything is perfect, that's an uncomfortable place to be. But that's how it used to be. Yeah. All right, with pre-planning and pre-production. So that being accepted, this hasn't got that, but ultimately it's still the same thing. You go in the studio, the light goes on, figuratively speaking, and you're recording something and then you're mixing it. You know, you can take stuff out, but you can't add more. You know.
Yeah.
So that's been a huge amount of fun, and now we're in a planning stage for a new serious project that will be a little bit more pre-thought and allow us to go on tour and actually remember what the hell we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me, if you had to define the benefits of being a musician or creative, what is the underlying thing that, like you say, that motivates you to do it? Like,
Do
you say it's an itch, it's a human thing to do, but what does it mean for you?
Why do you eat?
Yeah, right.
I mean,
it's just part of your
yeah, I mean,
DNA.
why do painters paint? Why do some people love numbers and have to be an accountant? You know?
Yeah, yeah.
I went to see our accountant the other day, and honestly, worlds apart, but that fucker loved numbers. You know, like he fucking loves numbers. You know, and
you do realise there's only 10 numbers.
Yeah, but no,
Numerals.
He loves it, and for him, like he's passionate about helping people with their accounts. Thank God for accountants. Right? For me, I have to create.
Yeah.
I have to be making something. I have to. I don't have a choice. You know, I wish I could take it easy. I just can't. I can't. You know, there has to be a project. It has to be. I've got to be expressing myself through music or through film or through creating something. You know, and this studio really has been an amazing outlet for that, to be able to create something physically with the intention of creating something in the art space. But also, my personal thing that I really get off on is the balance of the two sides of the brain.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is that when you're in just the musician space, you're clearly just in the creative environment, which is amazing and necessary to vent your spleen, to exercise that thing which is coming through you or from you, wherever it's from.
Yeah.
But in a studio, the other part of the brain is also working with the logical engineer part of the brain. Like, how do I get that signal flow into the machine? How do I balance the signal levels? How do I create the mechanics of a creative experience? And those two things interwoven are what I really get off on. I love that balancing between the two parts. You know, I just love it. You know.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Seem like a passionate man doing the right things at the right time.
Mad, I think is another way of putting it. Yeah.
No, that's all good. I fully get what you're saying. I fully get what you're saying because I'm totally in the same boat as you. Preaching to the choir. Preaching to the choir. Cool. Hey, show us around your excellent setup.
Awesome.
We'd love to know.
Thank you. Let's do it.
Cool.
So,
Makes me want to.
yeah, gear-wise,
Gear-wise? What do you got?
my beautiful monitors, which I absolutely adore. I always want to use them, 6832s, JBLs. They are so unbelievably detailed and transparent. I just adore them, and they don't make them anymore, unfortunately. Otherwise, I'd buy a new pair for Studio B, but they don't make them. JBL came out the other day and brought me some 708s, which are the latest equivalent, allegedly, and we AB'd them, and I just, they're great. But these things are amazing. Lots of, there's so many people who are fans of these speakers. Like if you go down to, Weta, not Weta, what's that studio down there?
Which city?
In Wellington. Owned by...
They do
all the,
STL? No, not them.
No, all the film stuff. Fuck me, my brain.
Yeah.
Anyway. Park Road, thank you.
Park Road.
Yeah, like all the guys at Park Road, like John in particular, is a massive fan of these and desperately trying to buy any that come up, and I'm the same. So if you ever see any 6832s come up, please let me know because I want them.
Okay.
The obligatory
NS10s,
which are great. They're incredibly wide. Obviously, they are NS10s. They're what they are. But as a reference, they're very, very useful. And particularly if you're an engineer coming into this space, you don't know the room, you bring up a session, power up the NS10s, you get to know the room, you pretty much know what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
But my sort of secret is I do a huge amount of mixing actually on these Control 2s.
The little JBLs?
Yeah, they're my shit speakers. they're shit whilst being a bit good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
They're not so shit that you don't want to work on them anymore.
Yeah,
but
not as shit as an iPod, but
no. It's interesting.
Just a little bit up.
Yeah, no, I mean there are some people who deliberately mix for iPod and so forth, but I just think that's stupid.
Yeah.
Because all music that's ever been made has been made in a studio and then is mixed down, is compressed to that. So why should you go for the lowest common denominator? I think you should go for the highest common denominator.
Yeah.
That's my personal view. I mean, it's always going to, if you've done a good mix, it's going to translate. Mm-hmm. And it's up to the manufacturers to build better gear for your ears. So this is an Ramsar 840 console, which it was not built as a studio console. It was built as a touring monitor console, and it's an 80s bit of kit. It was owned by Barton Sound, and then a company called Inertia Audio, Dave, and I was doing work with Dave at the time, live work, and when we were fitting the studio out, I knew I wanted a vintage console, and he rang me and said, "Dude, you love the Ramsar, don't you?" And I said, I do. I just don't like carrying it because it's like 4-person lift. Yeah. And they were going all digital, and he said, "Well, take it for the studio, have it on permanent loan, just look after it and get it serviced." So we got it serviced, and I love it. It's like my Millennium Falcon because it's got little glitches and things, but it just sounds incredible. It's just beautiful. Its preamps are just utterly delicious. Its EQ stage is delicious. Yeah. And this will move to Studio B, which I'll show you shortly. And when we refit this, then we'll bring the Neotech in here. But I love this console. Yeah. I love it.
This just caught my eye, by the way. You've labelled all the channels, and this one's fucking louder.
That one's the fucking louder channel. Yeah, the master bus.
Get used often, or?
Occasionally. Yeah. When things need to be fucking louder.
What about this?
For the last time, no.
I think that speaks for itself.
Okay. That's cool.
Because of the way the studio layout is currently, you'll notice there's no patch bay. We don't need to. It's all kind of permanently wired, but that's something we'll be changing when we do the refit. So your standard kind of beautiful rack gear that's.
Should we start from the top? What's that Clark
Technic EQ, which basically.
Never heard of them actually. Tell us a little bit about them. Made in Britain.
Clark Technic, vintage gear, 80s, beautiful sounding EQ. Used for mastering predominantly, but not. To be honest, I haven't used it for a long time. Yeah. It's a really nice EQ if you need one out of the box. The old TC Electronics multi-effects. That doesn't get used for anything anymore. It's a bit of a space saver. It's I need my glasses. My Digimax LT AD converter, but it's PreSonus, right? So.
Yeah. As we go down, it looks like you're starting to use it more and more. The DBX compression.
All the compression and gates. Yeah. I mean, I'm an analog guy, so predominantly we use Pro Tools as tape. Mostly everything is done through outboard gear. Okay. Very little is done in the box. Tape emulation, when we don't use the actual tape machine, or if there's just something we need to tweak, then we do it in the box. But predominantly everything from gating through to compression is done with outboard gear. Okay. Because if you're coming to a studio, you want a studio experience. You want the sound that you're going to get from a studio, which you only get from a studio. Otherwise, what's the point of coming to a studio?
It's like the tones of a guitar before it even hits the desk.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, why do you use a studio? Use it because it's got a nice sounding room that's been thought about. It's got great mics. It's got a great signal flow through really nice gear, because otherwise there really is no point in using a studio, apart from the expertise of the people working in it. But all of these things have been chosen for the character that they bring, and there's a lot more things we want to get to do that as well. Yep. One of the things that I love here is the space station.
Space station, this baby here?
Yep. Yeah,
that looks sexy as, man.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful
Where is that
reverb.
From?
That's actually from a friend of mine who had it in his garage, and I did a trade with him for an AD converter, and I've been looking for one for years because I'd used one in a studio called Channel House Studios in Bristol, and I loved it, and I've been looking for one ever since. And I was telling him, and he says, "I've got one of those in the garage." And I was the happiest man alive, honestly, because there's this is the sound of the 80s.
Really?
But I use it on fucking everything. It's just
everything.
It's just a great sounding thing.
Yeah.
Of course, the Lexicon PCM 92. I would have the 96, but unfortunately, Lexicon, you decided you would not make any VST user interfaces that work on PC. So fuck you, Lexicon. I love your devices, but sort your shit out. But anyway, the 92 is a lovely, lovely device.
Yeah.
A couple of TCM 350s, which are inexpensive and great for tap delays and so forth.
Yeah.
Of course, an Apogee 800, which we have two, the one over there, and the RME interface, which is our master clock.
Yeah.
And what's great about that is that using the mix interface with that, it's great for latency-free mixes for your artists in the room before it gets to Pro Tools. So it's really, really cool. Headphone amp, central station for selecting what monitors we're listening to and what source we're listening to.
That's cool.
And and then of course down to the
tell me about this. I'm not really familiar with it personally.
So, well, basically, this really is the control surface for Pro Tools. So, I move a fader here; it's moving on screen.
Right,
It's basically allowing me to have an analog experience in the digital world, which for the way I work is a lot more important. Actually, where this really comes into its own is if you're doing automation, because, I mean, trying to do a pan or a gain change when you're writing automation with a mouse sucks, but you've got a lot more control and feel if you're writing an automation, using your ears, not looking at the screen, and using an actual fader. So that's really important to my workflow. It feels better, and that's really
What about this
important.
interface here? What's this doing here?
Pretty much the same thing. So I can basically select the channels that I want to get to, I can quickly jump to a bank, just
that's cool.
Pretty much get to the page that I want to do. Enable my tracks for record, enable, or mute, or
and it's
soloing.
on an arm that can move
yeah,
around.
so I can
Awesome.
move that around and do whatever I want with it.
That's neat.
An old TV bracket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's neat. That's really cool. Over here, we did miss out the very essential 6176. What are you? I mean, I have one of those.
Well, you're a man of.
And I have one of those.
You're a man of great taste, clearly.
No, that's cool.
The 6176 matched with this channel strip and a TLM27 Neumann is a thing of wonder.
Yeah, right.
So pretty much all vocals go through that. The Joe Meek.
The Joe Meek. Tell me about what you use that on.
Well, I was actually. So a guy called Nigel Russell, who many studio guys will know from Oceania, he was raving about it, and he said you should try it for the studio, and this is going back a few years.
Yeah.
And he was right.
Yeah.
It's an optical compressor, and it's absolutely delicious on bass guitar and kick drums.
Bass and kick.
Just a wonderful thing. Yeah. And then the obviously the other DBX unit at the bottom there is absolutely gold on guitars. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and also vocals as well. But to be honest with you, unless you're running multi vocals, then it's all going through the UA. Yeah.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
You say you use Pro Tools usually as tape, but is there any plugins that you delve into?
I have a plethora of plugins.
Name your top 3 off the cuff.
I'm a big fan of Chris Lord-Alge. His suite,
the wave stuff.
The wave stuff is fantastic.
Okay.
If you want to get something done quickly, go to his suite of products, and you just got a great starting point. It saves a huge amount of time.
Yeah. I agree. When I'm doing sort of like live stuff as well, and I just want to mix there and then.
Yep. I also use pretty much in every single mix. I use the Slate Digital VTM, virtual tape machine.
Okay.
I run it on buses, drum buses. I run it on my master mix, on my master bus. Pretty much all my groups will have a VTM plugged in it. It's not the same as tape, but it does provide a bit of saturation, makes it feel a little bit more analog. Even though everything is analog, but
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. You got some nice keys. Do you play a bit of keyboards yourself?
A bit would be the correct statement. That's just died. We're fucking gutted.
Really?
We used this heaps on the
Well,
tour.
it's playing now.
Oh fuck!
It's that ghost you're talking about.
Not up here though.
What if it starts playing some tune in itself?
Then the ghost is.
I love it.
And of course, for the Troy Kingy record. Oh, fuck. Where are we going here? That's all over that album. There
is
you
it?
Go.
Those two buttons.
This is it.
Really?
Yeah. You'll hear that all over it.
Really?
Yeah. We had so much fun making that record. Yeah.
Hey, just chuck that onto your reverb and you've got a sound.
You've basically just uncovered my secrets.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the whole thing right
This
there.
EP7.
Yeah, that's also a MIDI controller, but we record it sometimes as a keyboard, but predominantly it's just a MIDI. Oh, you showing off? I reckon you were just playing the pre-recording, eh? No need, eh?
I've been playing that since I was 12.
Good man. I'm just jealous,
7,
basically.
8. No, that's cool. EP7,
But yeah,
Roland.
predominantly just MIDI is what we use it for. Into Reason. So.
Is this the stuff going on Trade Me?
No, this is stuff. This is more stuff.
Hidden things.
We have been buying more and more rack gear for Studio B.
Right.
So there's a growing pile of more rack gear.
Yeah.
When this is refitted, this is going to look mean. It's not going to be in like flight racks. It's going to be all wooden.
Nice.
Pretty much where this is here, there's going to be a bank of that wall won't exist, and there'll be a bank. Like in Roundhead, how there's that thing. The island of toys. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
The expensive coffee table.
Yes. Lounge.
This is the lounge.
Which will become. Which will, when we refit, will be.
Some nice gadgets and things.
Will be basically.
Have you used the Elka for anything?
Yes, we have, but it needs work. It was donated to us, but it needs some love, and we just.
It looks beautiful.
It does have some crazy sounds.
Where is it? What era is this from? 80s or?
I think it's earlier than that. I think it's 70s. Yeah. It's pretty mad.
That's delicious. Over here, we have the live room.
Yep. So this live room is both the control room and the live room are completely isolated on rubber feet. They float, and this room was built to the maths of phi, which I've been reading about when we were building, and I thought, fuck, if I can make it work, then let's try it, and we did, and it worked, and it sounds great. So,
everything to 3.14? Is that what you're saying?
1.4, whatever. Yeah, whatever that aspect ratio is of phi, not pi.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, which is the ratio that the human body grows to.
Oh yes, Yep.
Yeah, pyramids are built to,
and
trees grow to, the ratio of the universe, the golden ratio.
The golden ratio. Yeah.
And so it just sounds lovely.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into the 4-3-2 debate, but it does sound really good in here if you tune to 4-3-2. It's I don't believe that it's the way it should be. It just sounds nice and warm. That's all I'll say about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Lots and lots of guitars.
Yep.
Of multi, all over the place. We've got.
Now
some
you're
beautiful
the
instruments.
guitarist, bass player, so.
Yeah, that's a lovely bass guitar. That's actually that one on the left there is it's actually a precision neck on a Jaguar
bass.
body.
Yeah.
Built by a friend of mine for a guy called Marcus Coldry, who's an amazing bass player, and he built that. And as predominantly a guitarist, it's a good bass for me.
It's beautiful.
beautiful
the Rickenbacker.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. I've got the plug-in version from Native Instruments.
Probably not as good, to be honest, as the real thing.
I had a bass player in England, and this
Did
was
you?
his go-to. He loved the Rickenbacker. It sounds great if you have a muff pedal or a
Big muff.
big muff or something. And
So you had an English bass player with a big muff.
yeah, he had a fantastic muff.
This
family show.
Yeah. So this is my guitar that I absolutely adore. Les Paul. It's just a studio. It's
Gibson.
nothing particularly flash in that sense, but
Yep.
handmade bare knuckle British pickups, which are
Nice.
brutal and rather delicious, and tasty.
Yummy.
Then we've got a Fender 6. If you've never played a Fender 6, you really should play a Fender 6. It's that kind of transition between a bass guitar and a guitar. Bass players will tell you it's a bass. Guitarists will tell you it's a guitar with heavy strings. but it's really as a bass. It's quite incredible. It's an amazing thing. And we've got 7-string and 8 strings. We've got acoustics. We've got mandolins. Up here we've got Gibson Firebird, 335, Flying V, another 335, an SG.
SG, yeah, nice.
And these two guitars have got Lancaster pickups in. So they're really Lancaster pickups. Cara Gordon uses those.
Yeah.
They're made in Titirangi by a guy called Joe Lang, who's a bit of a scientist, and they're brilliant. I mean, the transients are incredible. I mean, they're really high fidelity, which isn't always appropriate, but they have a certain sound, really good in the studio, basically. Yeah.
I saw Foo Fighters and Weezer recently, and both acts had this SG.
Yeah.
Which makes me want one.
Yeah. This guitar here, this Ibanez, and this Telecaster are work of a dear friend of mine called Gene Bennett from G-Spot Guitars.
Right.
So he built this for me. This Telecaster. It's really lovely.
Nice.
He's just such a gifted
Lutherer.
But that Ibanez was a complete wreck, and we rebuilt it and we put mini Gretsch pickups in it, so it's got quite an unusual sound.
Yeah.
But everything, basically, all these guitars are deliberately chosen, and the pickups are chosen to give us as much tonal variety as we can, to cover as many different kind of aspects, different tones that people might want.
Yeah. Tell us about your drum kit.
It's a 1980s Tama kit. It records really well. Most of the records that come out of the studio have got some element of this drum kit on it, because it's really interesting. Drummers come in and they look at it and they go, and I'll bring mine in. And I say, just play it first. Then they play it and they go, holy fuck. Yeah. Particularly the floor tom. I'll tell you another interesting story, actually. This snare. So, just before we're about to record the Troy Kingi record, I should say a guy called Dom Morris, who lives locally, he's the drummer from a band called 71 Sunset, but he also comes in and tunes all the kit before a session. Okay. So he's our drum tech. He does a fantastic job. He came in the studio and said, I found this at the tip for $4. And this is a $4 snare. And it's now been on 3 albums because it sounds incredible. It's the most incredible sounding thing. Yeah. A $4 snare.
That is nice.
I love the fact that it came from a tip, and now it's been used on great records. I love that.
Some of the things I've found from like thrift stores and everything, awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Stuff that people are throwing away.
It's not about the price tag sometimes.
Neumann TLM27.
Oh, the star of the show.
Yes.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Lovely thing.
Yeah. Excellent.
If you want something that voices quite like a U86 but not, as in, I don't know, it sounds like a Neumann, but it's just got a lot more flexibility. It's not quite so mono, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a bit more versatile, basically.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But still, more Neumann microphones.
And you've got some amps here? The Trace
Trace Elliott's SWR bass rigs. Yeah, depending on what you want. This is one of my favourite purchases for to do with bass guitars, though. This is a Firefly DI, which is a tube preamped DI. Yeah. All bass recordings are DI'd through that, and it sounds incredible. You often don't need to reamp. It's just a magical little toy. Yeah. One of my favourite things. You can get those through a company called Amber on the shore. They're really, really good. Right. Highly recommended.
Okay. Firefly DI. Working Man's series of the SWR.
Yeah, owned by Warren Keane. Really, he's a partner in the studio and a great bass player.
Nice cajon there and a few more
That's a New Zealand-made cajon.
Is it?
Yeah, yeah. There's a guy up north making those.
Tuki Instruments.
Yep.
New Zealand.
Yep.
Made.
New Zealand made.
Start exporting these babies.
Yeah. I'm sure he'd like to.
Cool. Nice, I love this.
Yeah. Stick to the piano, eh? Anyway,
Yeah, stick to the piano. I'm not a con. This guy, honestly, but you're right.
The beautiful Mesa, 34 years old now.
Yep.
Beautiful thing. I just adore that amplifier. It's just, it rips your face off and then kisses you. It's just delicious. Line 6 modelling amplifier, which is quite useful, particularly if we're doing.
That's nice.
We use it a lot actually when we're tracking, and as much as someone's doing a guide track, we just DI that, so it's just in the cans. Yeah, that's probably what it's used for, not
no
for
amps.
live. Marshall heads, Laney's.
Tell us about the DSL.
It's a DSL Marshall. It does what it says
High
on
gain.
the tin, really. But I mean, the thing is, if you've got one of those, you've got the Mesa.
Yeah.
The only thing we're missing is a Fender Twin, which we're about to get our hands on, and then you've got
You've got a good
tonal
selection
variety.
of tones.
Yeah.
Ibanez.
Now that
Echo
thing
shifter.
is, so the bass player from a band called the Ebola Babies, we were doing his record and he had one, and I just fell in love with it.
Really?
And that thing, and as a result, he bought me one, and that's it. Huh. And it is the best
Is it
fun
delay?
you can have with your clothes on.
Is
Oh, dude, this thing is amazing.
Is
It's
it delay?
modulation, harmonics, and that's your time. And honestly, it is absolutely, I promise you, the most
So
fun
fun?
you could possibly have. Yeah.
Really?
Sorry.
What about this? This is no name.
Yeah, no, that's actually Jamie is my studio manager. So I can't really tell you much about that because it's a mate of his in Scotland makes these pedals that are sort of remade, famous pedals, and
Right.
that's one of his. And I
You don't
fucking don't know
it's
what
like,
it is.
I don't know what it is. It's got no label. So
Yeah,
you just
so you
plug
want
it in and you don't know what the knobs do.
Yeah, there's several of those locking around the place that I don't even know what they are now since Jamie's joined.
Maybe it's just the light switch.
Yeah, maybe.
And here's another piano.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Which we're looking after for Miss Peach from Miss Peach and the Travelling Bones. That's her piano, and it's been on lots of records now.
Yep.
And it's
Beautiful.
maybe you should play the piano.
Maybe. No, that's all good. Oh, always. This cool. Reminds me of like
A piano.
A piano.
Yeah.
There's not much to it.
It's uncanny, like these plugins these days, they're so real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. You're going to show us the
I can show you the upstairs offices and editing suites and artist lounge, or I can show you Studio B. Well, Studio B while we're here, maybe. Or...
Okay, here's the part of the video where you get to select, choose a journey.
We can go to Studio B, the new studio, or we can go to the artist lounge and offices with video editing suites.
Which one will you pick? Oh, let's go here. This is the to be. This is the future.
Yeah,
This is where.
This is Studio B.
This is going to be Studio B.
Probably another
It's on
6
the
months
way.
till we're finished, but
Yeah.
this is the new sort of artist hangout lounge area where the camera is currently,
Big plans.
is where the baby grand piano is going.
Yeah.
The stripper pole will be about here.
Nice.
Of course,
Looking
every
forward to
studio should
that.
have a stripper
Show
pole.
my routine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
This is actually something worth looking at. This is the new console that's going back into Studio A when we're finished. This is a Neotech Mark II. This is a
my
beautiful,
goodness.
beautiful thing, which we bought from Neil Finn at Roundhead Studios. This was
From Neil Finn.
This was Neil Finn's console.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to plumb it in. Yeah.
No, that's cool.
And then the Ramza console will move up to there, which is control room B.
Cool. Well, show us your offices.
Sure. So this is where we basically do all our admin stuff for the label, dispatch all music across the world. This is our artist kind of hangout lounge over here.
This is the way to get from point A to B of this particular room, the motorbike.
Yep. You need
Cool.
to be able to get need to get around easily.
Nice.
Yeah, hangout space, place to listen to the music on decent hi-fi once you've done your mixes.
Yeah.
Conference room through here, so we can Skype with the labels or the studios, the production studios we're working with.
So I'm an artist.
Yep.
Sign me in.
Okay. So we want to.
So, yep, That guitar solo was amazing. How are we going to market that guitar solo to the world?
Yeah, well then
And you do label stuff.
have a label stuff and talk to the A&R manager at Sony and say, yeah, I disagree with you. Oh, you're paying the bill. Okay. Well, we certainly agree with you.
That sort of thing. Very serious meetings go in here.
Yeah, serious meetings in here.
Very serious.
And then final thing to show you probably is our video editing suite.
Cool. There is a bathroom here for artists. It's very important.
You can shit, which is important. And this is very dark in here, so it'll probably be horrible on camera. But yeah, so this is our video editing suite, and we're running General X in here. This Panasonic grading monitor is obviously very useful for us from a video perspective. So at least we know that we're color correct for broadcast, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's pretty much us. This is all of our creative spaces that we have.
Wow. Excellent.
Yeah.
Very cool. Thanks, Tematera, for showing us
My
around Redroom.
absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming.
It's been fantastic. Thank
All
you
good.
for doing the tour with us. If you've enjoyed this episode, make sure to like, subscribe, hit that like button, and all that good stuff. Like it. Just
love
like
what you're
it.
doing. Thank you so much for coming.
Love what you're doing. Thank you.
Man.
Right, if you've enjoyed the show, check out other episodes and remember to stay cool and stay creative. Thanks, guys, for watching. Bye-bye.
So before we built it, it was just this your basement, right?
Yeah.
Kind of when you look out there and you look at the ceiling, you can get an idea. Roofs above us, just rough concrete floor.
Yeah.
We'd have jams in here.
Yeah.
We'd set up in that corner over there, and we'd be playing, and then my guitar would go quiet, and I look, and the cable's been pulled out. I'm like, oh, I must have stood on the cable, plug it back in, carry on playing for like 2 minutes. My guitar would go quiet, and then I'd go around the back of my amp, and the cabinet speaker was pulled out. I was like, what the fuck? Put it back in, keep playing, goes quiet, the power cable's pulled out. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So playing, go back, keep playing. And then in that corner over there, only 3 of us of the 5 saw it. Others were completely oblivious, but the 3 of us that saw it stopped playing because like a light bulb flash went in that corner, like an orb, the side like over 1 meter across in that corner, was just there. And we were like, you're seeing this, right? And they're like, yeah. And the other guy's like, what are you talking about? Anyway, we roll forward, we build the studio. Things kept going missing, whatever, but there's 5 of us working on it, so someone's a fucktard, right?
Yeah.
But we're blaming each other for the fact that the hammer's gone missing or keys have gone missing. Keys have gone missing to the point like they've just gone. Never to turn up ever again.
Yeah.
And you'd be in here and you'd often feel like you were being watched.
Huh.
And one night I was in here, we were doing some mastering actually, it was about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And I was sitting here and I literally felt this.
Oh.
Like it was so intense, I couldn't cope anymore. And before I'd been kind of ignoring it.
Yeah.
And it's weird because it'd be fine, but then it would arrive. And like I'd been conscious of seeing someone walking through that room.
Really?
And going, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
It must be a trick of the light.
Yeah.
And then one day we saw a face at the window.
Oh no, don't tell me this.
Anyway, so one day I pulled, and without thinking, I just pulled back my chair, I turned around, and I was talking to you, and I said, I'm so sorry. We didn't ask permission to come here. I'm so sorry, we didn't think about that, but this is what we're going to do. We've built the studio, it's for music and creativity. We're not going to be in your space all the time, but would it be okay if we shared it with you? And from that moment, it lifted. And,
interesting.
But still, this,
yeah.
We were sitting, I was mixing, there's one guy called Elliot Pike who's from a band called 71 Sunset, but also now a new project called In Autumn, which is amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
We're sitting here and we were mixing, and this, I had a candle.
Yeah.
And it got thrown across the desk.
It got thrown?
Yeah. It was picked up from over there and went boom across here.
By whom? On its own?
On its own. And then the last time he was here, that skull, which was up there, got thrown off there.
Huh.
So yeah, it gets involved. occasionally. Plays piano.
That is
and
crazy.
plays drums.
Talented ghost.
Very talented guy. Likes to have a jam.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
but I mean,
awesome.
it's quite crazy because I've never really experienced a poltergeist before. But yeah, it's.
I have
nice to
experienced a ghost story once when I was little. I was maybe about nine years old or something, and I was looking outside the window, and I saw this kid looking back. It wasn't me. This is a different kid looking back, and I kind of froze, and then I remember my mum going, "What have you seen?" And it was just like,
Wow.
yeah, and I was like, nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And but yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if I was tripped out that day. Maybe too much Lego.
Too much acid. Yeah.
But
too much Lego, man. You got to be careful.
that
with
was my
shit,
one
yeah.
and only experience.
Yeah.
With
So I
the
mean,
other
it
side.
doesn't
But no,
really.
that's-
It gets involved occasionally. But, yeah.
That's scary.